From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's Division of Research, welcome to Research Matters. Welcome back to Research Matters, where we spotlight standout research happening across campus and beyond.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're digging into a fascinating and consequential paper about how museums and universities handle indigenous ancestors and cultural belongings, especially when those items have been scattered across different institutions. The paper is by Jennifer Haas, Kevin Garstki, and Adrienne Frie, published in Advances in Archaeological Practice in 2025, and it's called Addressing Split Collections in NAGPRA Compliance.
Right, and before we dive in, quick definitions. NAGPRA, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, is a U.S. law that requires institutions to inventory human remains, often referred to respectfully as ancestors in the paper, and certain cultural items, things like funerary objects and sacred items, and, after consultation, repatriate them to tribes. Now, the problem addressed here is something called split collections.
Exactly. A split collection is when materials from the same archaeological site, including ancestors and the belongings buried with them, are physically separated across different museums, universities, or even local historical societies. This happened because, over decades, excavations were repeated, loans were informal, and record keeping wasn't always great. The result? One place might have an ancestor, another place has the funerary objects, and neither realizes they're connected.
And that fragmentation isn't just a paperwork headache, it creates real harm. It slows or complicates repatriation and forces tribes to endure multiple, repeated repatriations from the same site, each one reopening wounds. The authors argue that even though NAGPRA doesn't legally require reuniting everything before repatriation, ethically it's the right thing to do because it centers tribal guidance, reduces trauma, and restores wholeness.
So what's new in this paper? Three big breakthroughs stood out.
Number 1. A replicable roadmap for tackling split collections. The teams at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee built a collaborative model that other institutions can copy. It includes a shared regional site list, a secure document hub for primary sources and site files, and, this is key, regular, structured consultation with a broad set of tribal nations.
And those consultations happen monthly, with up to about 80 tribal nations invited. That scale and frequency are unusual and powerful. It means decisions about who takes the lead, whether to transfer legal control, and how to physically reunite items are directed by tribal preferences, not just institutional convenience.
Breakthrough number 2, site history reconstruction as a core compliance tool. Because many legacy collections lack documentation, the authors show how building a comprehensive site history, who excavated, when, where the materials likely went, and how they moved, is essential. It helps identify which institutions hold which pieces and reveals NAGPRA-eligible items that were previously overlooked because they were separated from their original context.
And the third breakthrough, interinstitutional communities of practice. Instead of every university solving the problem alone, they're forming regional alliances, sharing site lists, dividing labor, avoiding duplication, and importantly, reducing the burden on tribes who would otherwise get contacted repeatedly by multiple institutions about the same site.
The paper grounds these points in real examples. Take the Pipe Site Complex and the Grignon Site Complex in Wisconsin. Materials from those sites were spread across UWM, UWO, the Milwaukee Public Museum, and even private donations from avocational collectors. By cross-referencing site histories and consulting with tribes, the institutions coordinated, in some cases transferring legal control or physical custody so that one lead institution could manage a unified NAGPRA process.
Another striking example involves local historical societies. These groups sometimes have materials in a back room or in a library archive, no museum infrastructure, limited staff, and uncertainty about how to handle NAGPRA. The authors show how formal memoranda of understanding allowed UWO to temporarily bring those items under one roof, reconstruct context, consult tribes, and then either repatriate or return non-NAGPRA materials once the process is complete. Now, let's talk about implications for the field, for our listeners in academia and collections. First, this paper reframes NAGPRA work from a minimal legal checklist to a relationship-centered practice. The emphasis is not just, are you compliant, but are you reducing harm? Are you reuniting ancestors and belongings so that communities receive them whole?
Second, it elevates archival and curatorial rehabilitation. Site history research, sometimes seen as unglamorous, becomes a lever for justice. It's how you find the missing pieces, whether they're mislabeled in a county box at a museum or sitting on a shelf at a local society.
Third, it encourages resource sharing. Many programs are understaffed. The paper shows how shared databases and coordinated outreach create efficiency and prevent repetitive, even conflicting communications with tribes.
And now the societal impacts. Reuniting split collections reduces repeated trauma. Instead of communities having to show up again and again for partial returns from the same site, coordinated efforts aim for one, complete return shaped by tribal guidance. That supports healing and sovereignty.
It also builds trust. When universities proactively acknowledge past harms, dispersal through undocumented loans, silo collections, and then invite tribal partners to lead, relationships change. We see more collaborative research, better stewardship, and stronger cultural continuity because the right people are guiding the process.
For faculty across disciplines, anthropology, history, law, museum studies, even information science, there are concrete takeaways. 1. Audit your holdings or your department's legacy project boxes. What do you have and what do you actually know about it? 2. Join or start a regional community of practice. If your institution isn't yet collaborating, you can be the connector. 3. Invest in documentation. Fund student assistants or archivists to build site histories. That's discoverability, ethics, and compliance, rolled into one for center consultation. Budget and schedule for ongoing dialogue with tribal nations, not one-off meetings, and follow their guidance on legal control, notices, and physical transfers.
And a final word on the paper's stance. While NAGPRA regulations don't require institutions to reunite all related items before repatriation, the authors note that there may be times when doing so is appropriate. Rather than treating reunification as a blanket expectation, they stress the importance of tribal consultation in determining what approach best supports the needs and wishes of the affected communities.
If you want to read the study yourself, the citation is Haas, Garstki, and Frie, 2025. That's it for today's episode of Research Matters. Until next time, stay curious. Research Matters is produced by UWM's Division of Research, which reserves the rights to this audio podcast. All other copyrights are held by the publication authors and produced with their permission and cooperation. For more information on UWM's research podcast, please visit www.uwm.edu/researchpodcast.